Hey guys, it's your girl here, Ada B, and welcome back to Let's Talk. Yes, guys, welcome to another installment of Let's Talk. Before we get into anything, please make sure that you hit the thumbs up, that you hit the notification bell, and subscribe so you can be notified of when I upload next. And also make sure that you're following the socials at Talks with Ada B on all social media platforms so you can keep up with what we've got going on. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into today's topic. As you can see already by the title, we are going to be talking about discipline. And I want to talk about discipline because I feel like a lot of the times when you think of discipline, people just think of a hard set of rules. They don't think it applies to all areas. I think if I'm disciplined in this area, then it don't matter what I do everywhere else in my life. When actually discipline really should just be a part of your overall lifestyle. Of course, that's easier said than done. Of course, this girl talking to you right now isn't someone who has always done that. And I just want to explore some of the reasons why that may be. Now, the reason why I even want to talk about this is because I just feel like in this day and age, there is a serious lack of self-discipline. People are very chaotic in their decision making. A lot of us are very just like erratic, overly emotional, easily triggered, lacking accountability. There's a lot going on with a lot of us. I'm not even gonna lie. Like a lot of us, we're doing a lot. Okay, there's a lot going on. And I feel like it doesn't help that our culture, our society, the way it is right now, quite literally promotes that to get a bag. If you want to get a bag, just be unruly, be crazy, and the bag is yours, basically. The bag is secured. But forever be known as this crazy person, right? And people may love you today, they might hate you tomorrow, but you've got the bag, right? And I just feel like this promotion of like just self destruction is what I'm gonna call it. Um, no es buena. No es bueno. I don't like it. I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's good. And I don't mean to get on here and be a preacher or a lecturer or a teacher, but I'm just like, we've just got to have different conversations. Like, I'm so tired of hearing people like, yeah, just do what you want. Yeah, just like, no, let's be honest. Like, what are the consequences to your actions? Like, why are we not talking about consequences anymore? It's because people are not being disciplined. And I think if discipline was a thing again, I don't think that many of us will be doing the crazy things that we are doing. Let's just be for real. People don't want to have this conversation. It's more cool, it's more fun, it's more trendy, it's more likely to go viral if you say what is quote unquote controversial, which is really just the norm now. Just to be crazy, be unruly, just do whatever your heart says or whatever your genitalia says, like just go with the flow, and just like it is what it is. Que será. Like, no, like take back some control, take back the reins in your life and let's start like just enforcing some kind of self-discipline. Let's just start having boundaries. Let's just start being able to like, you know what I mean? Like just have a little bit of like mystery about us. Like so many of us are just like prepared to just do anything just to be seen, liked, heard, paid, and it's just not normal. It's not okay. I'm crying for the nation. I'm literally like, bro, like I don't know what's going on around. I think for me, like I can't sit back and watch certain things because it can't, like I'm one of those people. I get really sad when I see certain things. Like genuinely, I will cry for a stranger because I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself? And I think the reason for that is because there are some things I can completely see that I could have been that way too. If I wasn't careful, if I didn't make certain decisions, that would have also been me. So I think also in a way, sometimes I see certain things, I'm like, rah, like that could have really been me. And it hurts. It's like that. I don't want to see another human being going through something like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, maybe I'm a little bit weird or maybe I'm a bit too emotional or whatever. I don't know. But either way, when it comes to certain things, that's why when I was even thinking about like Talks Fader B, the reason why I haven't even brought back the radio show or the talk show per se is because I'm still trying to think about how I want to bring it back. I really want to be conscious of the kind of conversations I have. And I think I've always been from the beginning because I've always known the kind of person I am and the kind of things like I want my platform to be about. So I feel like I've been fairly consistent in that, but I'm still always evaluating like I go back and I watch everything and I listen to myself. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't really like how I sounded. Like I actually try to reflect and I'm like, all right, cool. I probably need to work on this a bit more, probably need to research this a bit more. And like I'm now not even going to talk on things that I'm genuinely not 100% comfortable, and I'm just going to say I don't know, or I'm just not going to touch it. And that means that I've had to now embed a routine of, if I'm going to film, it means I have prepared myself. I'm just being even more conscious about how I am presenting myself, what I'm talking about, and how I'm talking about them. I don't want to filter myself to the point where, this isn't me, but I also don't want to be unnecessarily rude or harmful in the way that I approach certain topics, because certain topics are sensitive, and I will be talking about them. But yeah, going back to the point of discipline, I just feel that it's just something that so many of us are lacking. Like, people are not exercising any sense of self-control, any sense of like, everything is just like, well, I felt this way. And so I felt this way, so I did that. And I felt this way and I did that. So I felt this way and I did that. And I felt this way. And what about what is right and what is wrong? What about sowing good seeds and consequences? What about what you put out is what you're going to get back? Like, how do we not care about these things at all? And I get it. I think also everybody's values and moral compasses are different. So people's aims and goals and certain things, especially when we talk about content creation, is different. So I can understand to that extent. But then what about just how you're treating people? Because as we can see over the last few years, the way people are getting exposed for their lack of self-control and a lack of accountability. Lizzo's case that was super viral, I think at the beginning of 2023, has recently resurfaced because it turns out that she had pleaded with the judge for the case to be dismissed, and the judge was like, no, which means to some extent the judge has seen enough evidence where she feels like there is a case, which is concerning because the claims were concerning. But there's just so many of these things now where we're just hearing so many stories of people just doing abhorrent things, and I'm like, people making excuses for them. Like, people are still making excuses for Tory Lanez to this day. Why? The man is in jail. Like, why are you still going hard trying to defend him? Like, what does he have on you that if you don't defend him, he's going to expose? I don't get it. Like, what is this blind loyalty? Or is it because you are also guilty of the same thing? Like, I want better for the people. I want better for the people, child. But yeah, on a serious note, discipline is something that just seems to be so lost in this new world. Like, I understand, like, you people want, I want to be like Jay-Z, I want to be like Beyonce, but you have no discipline. Do you know how hard these people work and are still working even to this day to be exactly who you want to be? I know the lifestyle looks amazing, yes, because they've worked for it. Like, you keep making these people your gods and you keep idolizing them and putting them on a pedestal, talking about they're the epitome of this, okay, and you want to be like them, okay, so what are you doing about it? What are we doing about it, sister? What are we doing about it, brother? Like, what are we doing about it? Like, what are we actually doing about it? It cannot be every day, I wish, I wish, I wish. One day. No, what are you doing about it? I want to see us doing more and talking less. Let's dial down Twitter threads. Let's just kill the Twitter threads, in fact, and let us just start applying for jobs. Let us start applying for jobs, applying for uni, applying for courses. Let's start, putting pen to paper and actually actualizing our dreams, our passions, our goals, etc., etc. Like, let's start doing something about it. And when we start doing something about it, let's try and be consistent. Because let me just be real with you, consistency was something I struggled with. Commitment and consistency, these are the two things I struggled with for the longest time. And I didn't realize it. It's like anytime something would go good for me, I would immediately refrain. I'll be like, oh, no, I can't take it. It's overwhelming. And I backed out. Instead of being like, okay, this is the time for me to like pick up momentum and be more consistent. That wasn't just with like music and content creation. That was genuinely me. And I didn't realize that until I started doing music. And then I was like, oh, I've really got a problem. And when I realized I had a problem, I was like, okay, how do I fix this problem? I wasn't just okay with being like, okay, I've got this problem, or that's just how I am in it. Like I'm just somebody who's got commitment issues. No, 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 I'm not gonna claim that label for myself. Absolutely not. I can acknowledge I have this issue, but also acknowledge that I want to do something about it. Two things can be true. So I don't know, but I want to see people my age and younger putting in the work. Now, I'm not saying that people aren't here doing, I know a lot of people, especially young people, who have like 3 side hustles. They're going to school and they're making, they've got their online business, they've got their TikTok, they've got, like, they're doing the thing. I'm not saying that they're not doing things. They are doing things, but the discipline is not there. They are spending money on drugs and sex and alcohol and party and designer clothes. Where is the investment into your future, into your health, into your well-being? Is it everyday lifestyle? Like, even when I see people my age sometimes, like, especially people that I know, and like, sometimes when I see them on social media, I'm just like, why are we doing this? Like, it's actually quite embarrassing sometimes. I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes it's a bit, I feel secondhand embarrassment. I feel cringe. Because like we're old enough to know better now. We're old enough to see through the smoke and mirrors. We're old enough to know what it is. So why are we still behaving this way? Like, it's bruh. Like, who are you trying to convince that this is you? Just be yourself. Like, there's actually nothing wrong with being you. I don't know where we've got this idea that we have to be somebody we're not or something we're not. There's nothing wrong with being who you are, where you are right now in your life. There's actually nothing wrong with that. The fact that you're still alive, boy, it's a blessing, child. Count your blessings, because it means that there's still something for you to be doing. Okay, and so you haven't figured it out. That's all right. You're still here. So it means you've got time to figure it out. But this is where the discipline has to kick in. Because you cannot be talking about, oh, life is hard and woe is me, and I'll never be nothing, but you're not doing anything about it. You have to do something. And I never used to really understand that saying that, I've forgotten how it goes and it's just escaped my mind. But if it comes back to me, I'll say it. But it's like, it's something like, you can't do the same thing repeatedly and expect change. That's the definition of insanity. I'm going to put the actual quote on here, but I can't remember how it goes. But yeah, like, it's kind of insane to think that you can do the same thing day in and day out and expect there to be changes in your life. You have to do something. We have to do something, child. We have to do something. We have to. We can't allow ourselves to just wither by the wayside. We've got too much potential. We've got too much, opportunity, especially if you're living in the Western world. But I hear it a lot, especially sometimes when I listen to certain podcasts and the people are writing their dilemmas. So many people feel so lost or feel like they haven't achieved nothing. And they be like 21, 22, 19, 18. I'm thinking, excuse me? I actually feel so sad sometimes because the pressures for them is so different. Because I can't lie, when I was that age, I didn't feel no pressure to do anything but do my little 9 to 5 and go out with my friends. Do you get it? As long as I went out every now and then, bought something nice, paid the bills at home, it was fine. Like, there was no pressure. I didn't feel like I needed to be in the latest designer. I didn't feel, but we were just living in a different time. And it's crazy to say that because it doesn't feel like that long ago. But when I look at how the younger generation move, I'm like, oh my gosh, so much has changed because they literally feel like they have to do these things. Like, why are you competing with the minority? And that's why I say, when I see people my age doing that online, it just cringes me out so much because I'm like, you have young people looking up to you, thinking that this is how you really live, when we know this is not how you really live. And it's not, there's no need to lie. There's no shame in where you are right now because your story can change tomorrow. Never look down on anyone, because the same way you're laughing today is the same way, you'll be crying tomorrow. So never look down on anyone. Anybody's situation can change at any given moment, okay? For the better, for the worse. It just is, that's just the way life goes. But you, as somebody who knows what it is, right? Who knows the smokes and mirrors of the industry, knows the smokes and mirrors of social media, why would you still be trying to perpetuate this image? Why? Like, I feel like at my age and anyone above my age, seriously, should really be, at a place in your life where these things don't hold that same value like they might have done 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Like, it's not like you can't still want them or you can't still, desire to have them, but I don't feel like they should have that same value in your life. They shouldn't hold that certain level of weight to the point where you're putting yourself in debt. You know, you lying on people, scamming people, committing crimes so that you can maintain the lifestyle. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I think just accepting the fact that sometimes, you know, life is rough. Like, you might have had it all planned out, you might have had it all figured out at one point, and then it just didn't work out that way. It just didn't work out that way. Or maybe you were up. You were up, like life was good. You couldn't see how you could ever fall back down. And now you're like below ground. It's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. But you know what? Being in denial is not going to make it any better. This is why I'll always, to the end of time, recommend getting counseling, getting therapy, or just having somebody that you can that you trust, that you can really talk to about certain things that are going on in your life. Because sometimes you just need perspective. You could be in the worst situation of your life, but perspective, if you have the right mindset, you won't find yourself buried there. You will actually be able to have a way out. You will actually see that, okay, I'm in the worst place I've ever been financially or emotionally or mentally, but actually it's going to be okay. Tomorrow is going to be better than today, and the day after is going to be even better than that day. And it's just going to get better from here because I'm already at the worst place I can possibly be. Just have someone that you can bounce off these things to, because a lot of the times the battle is in our mind. It's not even the situation. It's you. It's how you are approaching the situation. It's how I am approaching the situation. That is where the battle is. It isn't actually the situation itself. The situation has a solution. It does. It always does. But it's how quickly you get there is up to you. How quickly you get to that solution is up to you. And that was one of the hardest things for me to swallow. Like, I really, really struggled with that for a very long time. But obviously, as you grow up and you have different experiences, then your mind opens and you realize, oh, okay, you know, everything is not black and white. Everything is not as linear as you maybe once thought it was. And you have to just give more grace to situations, to people, to, you know, and just have an open-mindedness to certain things. Otherwise, you will never move forward. You will always remain in the same space. And yeah, so I don't know. I would love to see more of us taking accountability for the lives that we live. Like, I just think that, especially, like I said, my age mates, like, there is too many people running around, you know, still blaming people, still blaming situations. Not saying that those situations or people probably didn't have an impact or an effect, but the lie is that it's easier to just pretend like the issue doesn't exist and just blame the world, blame God, blame everyone around us, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, just feel sorry for ourselves. But that lie just means that we don't ever do anything. That lie just means that we stay mad, we stay bitter, we stay unforgiving, and we just never progress. We never get to grow. We never get to, like, see ourselves flourish and see what it's like to be on the other side when we're healed and, like, things are going well, and we can rebuild relationships we thought we had lost, and, you know, and we can start doing things that we never thought we could do. We start believing in ourselves. Like, there's so many lies out there at the moment that people genuinely believe is the answer to their problems, and it's just like, it's not, because what good has it done you, you know? And again, I don't even want to get into how people have exploited people's, you know, self-destructive habits, you know, for our entertainment and for the bag. Like, that can be a whole other series or, you know, conversation in itself. But I say all of this to say really that self-discipline, child, we all need it. We all need a little bit of that self-discipline, because that self-discipline is going to change the way we do everything. There's just one thing that you know in your life has a positive outcome that you can commit to, do it. I don't know what that one thing might be for you. It might just be going for a walk daily. I don't know. It might, or going to the gym, or it might be, you know, finishing a course you started. You know, it might be getting through a chapter in the Bible. Whatever it is, just that one thing that you know is going to be like something that when you reach the end of it, there's going to be a positive outcome. I want you to try this year of 2024, even if it takes you the whole of 2024, that's okay. Just choose like one thing that you can do and you can stick to and see through to the end. And just see how that makes you feel. I don't know, see how that makes you feel. See what good comes from when you do that. It's not easy. And this is why, again, I really encourage having someone you can trust, that you can talk to, that you feel comfortable to talk to, because they can hold you accountable. Even if it's like a counselor or something, they can hold you accountable. They can say, have you done that thing you said you were going to do last week? Have you completed this thing that you said you were going to do? Because sometimes we all need that. We just need somebody just to say, just to give us that little extra push so we can just make it through to the end, especially when things start getting harder or tricky or whatever. It's nice to just have someone that can just like hold your hand sometimes through a certain part of the process. And there's nothing wrong with that. Do you know what I mean? If you need help, you need help. We all need help. We're human beings, for goodness sake. We're not even we're meant to be living in community, in peace, in unity, and, you know, and all of that stuff. But we don't, obviously, for various reasons, some that are obvious than others. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with saying, I need help. Like, I want to do something different. I want to do something good, but I need help. It's 2024. May God help us all. May God help us all, for real, for real, for real. Like, we cannot still be faking and lying and cheating and scamming and whatever else in 2024. We've got to be on something different. Like, it's just it's too much. Are you not tired? Are you actually not tired? Like, sometimes I'll be watching sometimes people's stories. I'm like, are you not tired? Like, you've done this 4 nights in a row. Are you not tired? Because I am tired on your behalf.
Wow. Wow. Next question. See ya.
So yeah, accountability, a little bit of discipline, like just commit to one thing in 2024. Like, don't even blame yourself. Don't even do that. Don't even start blaming yourself. Okay, we're people, we make mistakes, like we learn, we grow, we live, we move on. It's okay. Like, we live to tell another day. Do you get it? By the grace of God. So let's just take a first step together. Okay, we can all do it together. For me, my thing this year that I'm committing to is weight. Do it, like, break it down. What would it look like each month for you to commit to that thing? Does it incur any cost? Like, and even like just planning that probably won't even take up more than like 15-20 minutes of your time, but it's going to change your entire year. Like, we have to start being prepared to put in the work. I think because of like the, you know, the digital culture that we live in and the new world that we live in, some of us have just become lazy. That's just a fact. Like, just extremely lazy, not prepared to work, don't want to do nothing, like just want to be mad at the world or whatever. Like, no, let's get up. Okay, let's get up together. Okay, we'll go together. Let's get up. And yeah, let's go and do something. Like, we have to be prepared to do the work. I think that's the other thing. Like, to have good things, to have a good life, you're gonna have to do some work. You need to leave. Like, I don't understand why we even believe that a good life will just be handed to us. I don't even know where that mentality came from. Like, I don't understand, because the way I grew up, that there's nothing good in this life you get for free. Anything you get for free, you pay for with your life, period. Like, anything you want good in this life, you have to work. That's why I was 17, 18, hustling to get a job, because I was like, I need money. Okay. I wanted to be able to go out with my friends. I wanted to be able to buy things and eat out and travel and other stuff like that. So I just knew I had to work, and I was okay with that. You need to be okay with that. We all need to be okay with the fact that if we want something good for ourselves, we're going to just have to do a little bit of that work. And sometimes that work doesn't mean like a 9 to 5. That work might mean, okay, you know what? I've got some serious issues with how I spend money. I'm going to go and seek financial advice. There's so many ways to seek financial advice for free. Like, even your local Citizens Advice Bureau, sometimes even in some of your libraries, they have financial advisors there where you can book appointments with them via the library website or Citizen Advice Bureau website and go and visit a financial advisor. Talk about your spending habits. Look at the things that you're spending on. How could you save more? Is there other opportunities maybe of jobs that you could apply for so you could earn more money, etc., etc.? There's like so many ways that we can tackle certain issues that we have. Or let's say maybe your issue is more so you spend too much time on your phone. How about actually scheduling time? Because I've had a friend do this. They actually schedule time where for an hour in the day, they do not touch their phone. It doesn't matter if they get a text message. It doesn't matter if the phone rings. They are not touching that phone for that hour. Because you know what? If you can resist it for that hour, you'll find out that you can actually resist it for 5 hours and 10 hours and probably even half the day. Probably your whole working day. You probably won't even need to look at your phone until before you go to bed. Okay, unless maybe you're a parent or a wife or something like that, maybe you might have more responsibilities. Then that's a bit different because yes, you might get phone calls through the day, whatever. But we just have to try new ways to help ourselves achieve the goals that we want to achieve. If we're never going to try nothing new, we're never going to achieve nothing new either. We're just going to keep living in this repetitive cycle of chaos and self-destruction. And it's only going to make us feel more low, more depressed. And we're not going to feel good about ourselves. We're not going to feel good about life. And we're not going to feel good that we've also wasted so much time. Because you see, we only get to be as young as we are once. Once this time passes us, we don't get it back. And I think that's the thing that always makes me sad when I see like young people like who are like addicted to drugs or like involved in certain lifestyles or that die young. It's like, it's one life, you know, one. We don't get to do this show again. So just make it count for something. I don't know, like anything. And you don't have to be a celebrity. You don't have to be a superstar. You don't have to be the next rapper or, you know, influencer. Like you really don't have to be any of those things. You just need to be you. And if you feel like you're struggling to be you, that's okay. Many people are, of all ages. But the great thing is that you're not in denial about it, and it means there's potential to start doing some work on that. And just commit to that journey. Whatever that looks like. You're gonna have some good days, you're gonna have some awkward days, some bad days. But at the end of the day, you're gonna keep saying, you know what? I want to be me. I want to be a healthier me, a happier me, a more productive me. So I'm going to keep doing what I know I need to do to get there. And again, you don't have to do it alone. You know, there are actually support groups as well. Like one of the things, because of the various jobs I've had, I've learned so much about what support is available. And I know that the further away you get from certain cities, the harder it is to get this support. But there are these supports also available digitally as well. There are support groups. If you're struggling with whatever it is that you might be struggling with, there are support groups. If you feel like maybe you're not comfortable talking to family and friends, there are support groups. You can be in a group of strangers who are going through exactly what you're going through and overcome it together. And you take as long as you need to. All that matters is that you overcome. That's it. That's all that matters, is that you get to the other side. That's why I said, even if it takes you the whole of 2024, okay, so be it. And I feel like I've been swaying and flipping my hair, rolling my eyes, all sorts. But you know, I'm sure you guys will understand. Like sometimes content creation is hard work. But yeah, I just also want to just say like thank you genuinely to like friends and like just people who have genuinely supported this random journey of mine I've been on for the last 5 years. Like it's actually so random and so crazy, but to know that like when I posted the other day on Instagram and like all the love I got, I was like, wow, like you guys are really still checking for what I'm doing, and that I don't know, very humbling, so cool. So just thank you. Like I am being more committed to this channel now, and I'm, you know, the same way I've been working on my music is the same way I'm going to be working on this simultaneously, and the projects and everything else. So yeah, just make sure you stay connected. All social links in the description box below. It's been your girl here, Eda B, and I'm signing out. Bye.